Okay, thank you for joining my session about 5 things you can do with Maven in Eclipse or that IDEs don't want you to know. So hopefully I will teach you some things today if you don't know about them. If you already know about them, good for you. I am Fred Bricon. I've been coding bugs for developer tooling at Red Hat and Eclipse for a few years now. I am the project lead for the M2E WTP project, and I'm a committer on the Eclipse M2E projects and Eclipse JDTLS. My Twitter handle is fbricon. And today, in case you haven't noticed, I'm going to talk to you about how Eclipse IDE is awesome. Eclipse IDE, why is it awesome? Because from my perspective, it provides incremental feedback super fast. If you make a mistake in your Java class, save your file, the whole source tree is updated with errors all over the place. So it's a really good incremental build tool. And Maven is awesome. Maven gave us conventions over configuration. When you look at the Maven build file, you've seen them all. You can open any project on GitHub. If it contains a Maven pom.xml file, you know what it's doing. It's really straightforward. The problem with Maven is it's a command line build tool. So in the context of an IDE, well, it's not really supposed to react to incremental changes by design. But we have Maven in Eclipse, which is bigly awesome. In Maven in Eclipse, we manage, in a way, to give the incremental powers of Eclipse to the Maven build. So I'm going to show you a few things, all this awesomeness in action by doing a little demo. What I'm going to do is convert a legacy web application to Maven. And then I'm going to adapt the build to react to different profiles, development profile versus a production profile. And we're going to see how we can reuse external resources added to our build. And we're going to do all that while keeping a minimal build/deployment turnaround. So it's demo time, and as a bit of a disclaimer, I'm not using a stock Eclipse installation. I am using Red Hat JBoss Developer Studio 10.3.0.ga, which is an Eclipse distribution, but it contains some other tools that will help me present that demo. Most notably, there's a server adapter that will help me run my Wildfly server. And another tool that's going to be helpful for Maven conversion. We're going to see that in a moment. All right. So I'm going to put that full screen. So what I've got here is a really simple web app. It uses the Eclipse conventions. So the sources are under the src directory, the web assets are under web content, and the app is deployed on Wildfly here, there. So I'm going to put both screens up, nope, like this. There, I got a to-do list app. For VC funding, you can talk to me after this call if you're interested in funding this app. So this is a to-do list app. I can check my tasks, add a new task. I forgot to add that we're going to see some awesome pom.xml action there. But it's a legacy app in the sense that it's not based on a build system. It's using pure Eclipse stuff. So I'm going to convert that project to Maven, and you're going to see how easy it is. So you right-click on your project, configure to Maven project. Can we see it? Yes. This opens a wizard where you will define group ID, artifact ID, version, packaging. Who here in the room knows Maven or has used Maven? Raise your hand. Everyone. So everyone knows the concepts. All right. So I'm going to use group ID org devox, keep the artifact ID name, and click finish. When I click finish, something is going to happen, which is provided by the Dev Studio tool. And this thing is the Maven dependency identification. So if you can see here, my project contains dependencies to Jackson in the web app libraries folder, so web and flib. I also have, it's a modal window. Anyway, I also have dependencies to jars provided by Wildfly. And all these dependencies described by Eclipse, I need to translate them to Maven dependencies. So that wizard is exactly doing that. So I know I need a few of them, not all of them, so I'm going to deselect them. I need EJB, so I'm going to select it. I need JaxRS here. I need JPA. And I need inject. And the last one I need is Jackson mapper. Because I know that Jackson mapper depends on Jackson core, I don't need Jackson core directly. Jackson core will be, when I have a Maven build, will be dragged automatically as a transitive dependency. All right, so I got a bunch of dependencies here that I'm gonna add to my build. But I know I'm deploying on a web app server, a Java IDE server, so some of these dependencies are already provided by the server, so I can edit the dependency and say it's provided, all right? But I got a bunch of them that are already provided, so I'm going to select them here and a couple more here. And I can edit them all at once and boom, provided scope. So when I click finish, here, okay. My small web app has been converted to Maven. So I have all the dependencies that have been identified already with the provided scope, except for Jackson mapper. I can see these dependencies are available in the Maven dependencies as well, and Jackson core is here, as expected. So the wizard converted the project to Maven. It's not a refactoring, so that means all the existing directories are still here. I did not break my project. I didn't change anything. It's still the same. Everything's still in the same place. So source directory contains a non-Java file. Here I can see there's an import SQL file. This is a Java 1.7 project, so the compiler is configured to compile to 1.7, and the war plugin is configured to take all the assets existing in the web content directory. And the app still works normally, or not. We'll see. All right. Oh, there's one thing I forgot to do because there's a kind of a bug in the server adapter. I need to tell Wildfly that it's going to use the to-do context. So I'm going to do that with the final name, and I'm going to say this is artifact ID. All right. So let's see the deployment directory. Okay, I got a bit of a problem here. I'm going to remove that. check the deployment name. Okay. I want to deploy it under to-do war. This is a bit of a bug in the server adapter tool. All right, save it, redeploy, run as, run the server. Let's see, I redeployed it to the war. Okay, everything's back. So I talked about the IDE, project conversion to Maven. All right, next, I'm going to add some customization depending on some build information. So I want it to display here the version of my application. So how do I do that? Take my index.html and say, okay, this is, say, artifact ID, and version. I'm going to remove the list, save the file. So the Dev Studio tools provide a live reload server, and I connected my browser to the live reload server. So every time I save a file, that file is reloaded in the browser. So here I can see, okay, I got some $artifact ID, $version things, don't mean anything. How do I get these build information and inject them into my actual application? So we need to do something that's called web resource filtering. So I'm going to open the war plugin configuration, and I'm going to do something like web resources here. There. So as you can see, I got autocompletion in the configuration part of the plugin. This is actually a feature of the Maven tooling in Eclipse that we have deep knowledge of the all the configuration types available in the POM. So if you try that in another IDE, you might be surprised that you're not going to see that. So we're going to do filtering true, and that should be it. Save the file, and there's an error here somewhere. Okay. There's an error. I don't know what. Demagogues are not good with me today. No. Okay, there's a null pointer exception somewhere. All right, if I can't do that, I'm gonna be in trouble. Okay, so let's try. I'm gonna kill that and restart Eclipse. It's the only way I can think of. So, should the demo work properly, as soon as I enable the filtering, because I enabled, this is a Maven build enabled, in Eclipse, Maven will process the change resources. So my HTML file should be redeployed with the proper content. So let's see what's happening here. The server. I'm going to restart it, maybe. Let's update the project configuration. Maven, update project. Gonna wait for the deployment maybe. Okay. The live reload server is not started. So we're gonna open. No, it doesn't work. Nothing works. That's awesome. Okay, it's all right. We're gonna skip live reload. All right. Let's do filtering. Some dummy change. No. All right. Let's check. Normally, M2E will basically process the raw pages, the raw index.html page, and put it the process page in the web resource directory. So I'm gonna do Maven update project, maybe second time. Fresh. Nope, doesn't work. All right. This is interesting. Okay. So we are going to do something else. We're going to move on. Say again? I think maybe there's a Wi-Fi problem that causes Maven to puke all over the place. Okay. Oh, I think I know. Okay, let me think. So we have, we're going to include, where am I here? Include the HTML. No. Okay. So no resource filtering. Okay, we're going to move on to, that's going to be interesting. We're going to move on to war overlays. So the idea of war overlays is, let's say you have multiple applications developed at your company, and you want to share the same graphic resources, icons, CSS, and files like that. So the idea is that your application will not be responsible for containing these resources directly. So here in my case, I got CSS in the Bootstrap directory. So what I want to do is use the resources provided by my company. So in here, what I'm going to do is add a dependency to these shared resources. So let's do insert dependency and add shared assets here. This is a war type dependency. So when I save it, normally, here in the target folder, I can see an overlays folder that contains another WAR file that just contains a bootstrap, CSS, that's going to be deployed on my server if it works. All right, so I'm going to delete mine. Okay. And see what happens. Nothing works today. No. Okay, let's do a full publish. No. All right, I can't debug everything. So what time is it? I don't have much time. So I'm gonna have to apologize and explain you what's supposed to happen. So the idea is you want to share your resources, and by simply adding a dependency to your pom.xml, M2E WTP will take these external resources, put a copy in the local workspace, and everything will be deployed on the server, on the running server. Here, for some reason, oh yes! Okay, we're here. So we don't have the resource filtering here, but we have at least the overlays. All right, so it works with external dependencies. The jar exists in a Maven repository, it's been downloaded and then included in my workspace. But what if I want to overlay resources that are in my workspace? So I can do that as well. So if I go to my navigator and open the same project, I'm going to refresh here. So we're going to see this shared asset project as basically a few where are they? Here. Oops. It has a few folders containing different themes for a Bootstrap. So right now I'm using Slate locally. So I'm going to try again to do. I'm going to update the Maven project configuration. I shouldn't have to do it manually. It should just work. Just work. No, it doesn't. Okay, so let's do change. Here I'm going to use something like Amelia, flatly. So one of the another feature of the POM editor here is the navigation through the file system. If I do src main flatly, the POM editor recognizes that depending on the type of object that's configured in the plugin, it will open like a smart file browser. So here I'm going to change my the content of my project in Workspace, hopefully. It works. All right, so now I'm sharing resources from another project in my own web app, but I still don't need to add my own web resources here. We can check in the target folder. There's the old version of the overlay, but everything is coming from the workspace, really. So let's try another time. Amelia, save it. And it works. Okay. So that at least works. All right, so we've seen a few features from the pom.xml editor, deep configuration options, navigation through the file system. We've seen overlays working. Web filtering is another problem. Well, so there's a last feature that I wanted to show you, but it's deeply linked to the web resource filtering that I wanted to show. So I can still talk about it. It's the profiles management. If you have different profiles in your build, so let's create a few profiles. Let's call it IDE. Dev profile and a production profile. So what you can do in Eclipse is select the profile you want to work with at any given time. So there's a wizard for that. So Control-Alt-P will open the Maven profile selection. So you can enable any given profile, save it, and should web filtering work, you could see that filtering depending on the profile would update the application in real time. Fortunately, I'm unlucky today. So any idea what happens if I have two profiles that provide the same things? What happens if they're enabled at the same time? Any idea? No? Okay. So the last profile in the pom.xml wins. If you have two profiles and each of them override the same or declare the same values, the last one declared in the pom.xml wins. It's kind of important. One of the thing you can do while working in Eclipse is have a profile that's enabled all the time in Eclipse. In order to do that, for instance, the dev profile, if I want that dev profile to be enabled in Eclipse, I can declare an activation policy, which is based on a property named M2E version. Okay, when I do that, the profile is automatically enabled in Eclipse. So if I go back to the profile management wizard, okay, I'm going to deactivate everything. Oops. Let's deselect all. There. I can see the dev profile is automatically activated because the M2E version property is injected by M2 Eclipse. All right, so that's about all the things I wanted to show you. Would have been nice to have the web resource filtering working. So let's go back to the slide a little bit. So in summary, if the demo went well, we've seen the project conversion, which is really good. Dynamic resource filtering didn't work, but it's still really huge, if you can believe me. There's a profile management system that's, I think, really nice in Eclipse. War overlay support works dynamically. You make any change to your war overlay dependencies, and they're normally deployed on the fly, which is really nice. And some features from the pom.xml editors are unique to Eclipse, like deep configuration knowledge, file system navigator. If you have any question, now is the time. Nope? All right. Thank you very much.